Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. We talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm Russ Jeffrey. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. The USFL and the XFL has been reported to possibly be thinking of doing a merger for the 2024 season, which means that the USFL and the XFL are going to combine and basically create one spring football league, as you can see on the headline right there. That is crazy because I can see both positives and negatives to this. There have been a lot of people online talking about whether this would work or not. And I'm going to get into all of this and more and let you guys know what I think about the possible USFL and XFL merger, whether I think it will succeed or not. Now, the USFL and the XFL, I love both leagues because I like seeing players that can't play in the NFL or don't really have the opportunity to play in the NFL as of this time get to play in the USFL and the XFL, continue to live their professional football dreams. And for some players like Cavante Turpin, be able to turn that into being able to eventually go into the NFL. I think both leagues are awesome. And for people that really like football, it allows them to be able to watch football during a time when there's no NFL on, or college football if they don't want to watch baseball or basketball, which is what is on during the spring. But the thing about the USFL and the XFL is it would not be a smooth transition if you did merge them together. The USFL has different rules. They don't do the crazy three-point conversions and a lot of the other rule changes that the XFL has. And the USFL overall is just a more chill league. You don't have a lot of stuff going on that's crazy. The XFL, you have a lot more emphasis on betting. You see during the broadcast, during the game, a lot of people are talking about the betting line. So people like the XFL for those reasons, how it's a little bit more chaotic with the rules and how there is an emphasis on gambling, where the USFL is more chill and it doesn't really show all those things. So some people like the USFL better for those reasons. Another issue as well is the USFL is on NBC and Fox, XFL is on ABC and ESPN. If you merge them together, would you still have both of the spring leagues on those different networks? So when the USFL plays, would they still play on Fox and NBC and the XFL on ABC and ESPN? That's probably the case, but it would kind of make it interesting because you'd have two different leagues on two different networks that are supposedly combined into one league. That might create some friction there. I don't know how much that it would, but I still think that it is going to be something that's going to have to be worked around, but I'm sure that the networks could figure it out. Also, when you think about the XFL and the USFL, both of these leagues are losing money. Fox is funneling the USFL as much as they possibly can to keep them afloat, and the XFL lost a ton of money in their first season of being a football league again. The Rock, he did everything he could to bring up the image and name of the XFL and get a lot of people to watch, and a lot of people did watch, but both leagues did lose a lot of money in their first seasons of being back in existence. If you combine them together, would it work? Would you be able to have two organizations that are technically both losing money and in debt be able to merge and create something that's going to have so many people interested and invested in it that you're going to be able to make that money back? I don't know, because you look at a Sears K-Mart situation. K-Mart and Sears were two of the top companies in all of America, but they were starting to decline. Both K-Mart and Sears were starting to trend in the wrong direction at the exact time that they decided to merge together, and when they merged, it made it a whole lot worse. Now, obviously, there was a lot of economic problems with that as well, but Kmart and Sears never recovered from that merger, and they eventually basically both folded, even though they both still exist, but they do barely exist. Would the USFL and the XFL be like Sears and Kmart? And since they're both technically not above water and they're both kind of struggling to exist, if they merge together, would that be enough to put the final nail in the coffin and end both of these leagues again? I'm not saying that's the case, because football is different than companies, and I do think that if you do combine the leagues, you would be able to bring a lot of the fan interest from the USFL and a lot of the fan interest from the XFL, and maybe if you have more of that popularity because you are combining the two leagues, it would garner more interest, because people would be like, oh, this is kind of like the NFL. You've got more teams, you've got more games, and it would kind of feel more like a alternate NFL or just a NFL like, kind of like an NBA G League to the NBA, and it would be marketed better than the NBA G League because the NBA doesn't really show many of the G League games. These two leagues would get a lot of exposure on their respective networks, and being combined together, especially if you do have like what it says below in this article of having it where the USFL champion and the XFL champion play each other, if that possibly happened, that would possibly create even more intrigue because of the fact that you would have the two best teams from the respective leagues winning their championship and then be able to play each other for the ultimate spring league championship game. It could create a lot of intrigue, and it definitely could get a lot of fan interest. I don't know if all that's going to work. If I had to say whether a merger would work or not, I think it has a better chance to fail in the long run. I think that there is a chance, because both of these leagues are not really in the best of standings right now. Trying to combine two organizations that are not in the best standing financially and then trying to put them together and see if it's going to work and get more fan interest, it might fail. Now, will it fail? I think that there is a chance that it succeeds as well. Like I said, I used the K-Mart Sears example. The USFL and the XFL is not the exact same thing. These are two different football leagues, and I do feel like that there is more and more interest being garnered towards spring football, and that's just what's going to happen. Whether it's The Rock using his image or the USFL doing whatever they can to market on Fox and NBC. Both of these leagues, if they do merge, they're going to have to get the rule changes fixed. So whether the USFL kind of adopts the XFL rules with the three-point conversions and all, the going for it on 4th and 15 and all that, the USFL adopts that, or the XFL kind of tones that down and goes to the USFL's rules. They're going to have to figure out the two different rule changes, and they're going to have to get the fans of both of these leagues, because there are people that like the XFL and there are people that only like the USFL. They're going to have to get them to want to watch both of these leagues together. That's going to be a tough, tall task to do, but it's not impossible. I hope that both these leagues work, because I hope that they still exist. I like both the USFL and the XFL, as I've already stated, for players to be able to play, if they can't go to the NFL, continue their professional football dream, or even as a showcase to possibly make it to the NFL one day. I really like both these leagues. It's fun to watch while you have basketball and baseball on as well, especially if you are a big football fan. But merging these two leagues together creates a lot of risk. It could work, it could not work, but if I had to guess, I think there's a better chance it does not work. But that doesn't mean it will fail. It could work, but it's going to be very interesting at the end of the day to see what happens. But again, merging both of these leagues together is a very risky thing, and only time will tell whether it works out or not. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Like this video down below. Comment down below whether you think that the USFL and XFL merging together for possibly the 2024 season could work, or whether you think that both leagues should stay separated and that it would work better in the long run. Follow me on Twitter as well. Link is in the description, and I will see you next time.